They were barefoot, still in their pajamas. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning when ICE busted through the door. And moments later, a father was in handcuffs. His teenage kids were crying on the curb. Neighbors were screaming, kidnapping into their cell phones. But just hours later, across town, a completely different scene. Broad daylight, power tools buzzing, shopping carts rolling. When suddenly Border Patrol storms a Home Depot parking lot and migrants scatter like wildfire. Foot chases, tackles, arrests. One man, a U.S. citizen, slashes a federal agent's tires and gets maced in the face. His wife is yelling that he's innocent. Agents are saying, hey, too bad, he's coming with us. This is what we're seeing in the streets here, guys. But what you're about to hear is not just some one-off incident. This is President Trump's America now, and it's a full-scale crackdown that the media doesn't want you to understand. Sanctuary cities, they thought that they could just block federal law, but they forgot one thing. Donald J. Trump is back, and this time he's not asking. But here's where it gets twisted. It's not just the raids that are shocking. It's the activists, neighbors, protesters, even leaders who are now interfering. They're lying to police and they're accusing law enforcement of crimes, not to stop the deportations, but some are actually just trying to discourage it. They're calling to courage. Others are calling it obstruction of justice. But at the end of the day, we already know what's really going on. What really happened inside this apartment before dawn? I want to talk to you guys about why Border Patrol targeted Home Depot and what they found. And are all of these activists helping their communities, or are they really protecting criminals who were never supposed to be here in the first place? So folks, we're going to get one thing straight before we go any further. And I'm going to go ahead and say that unlike the last few years of chaos, confusion, and cowardice, there's a new sheriff in town. President Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, he's in control now. He's in charge. Joe Biden is gone. So I guess we can say goodbye to the days of the wide open borders, the sanctuary city loopholes, the federal law being treated like a suggestion. But what we're seeing right now is a strategic crackdown on illegal immigration, not just at the southern border, but in the very neighborhoods, the stores, the communities where criminal aliens thought that they could just disappear. This is what law actually looks like. This is what law and order looks like, guys, and this is just getting started. So here's what changed, and this is why it's turning heads all across America. By the way, if you appreciate the daily news updates, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. Under President Donald J. Trump, Border Patrol and ICE are now working together inside the U.S. cities. Now, for years, these agencies were tied up chasing waves of migrants pouring through the border, but now crossings are at record lows, and that has freed up a lot of manpower for something that the media doesn't want to talk about: interior enforcement. So that means the raids are no longer happening at the border. They're actually happening in parking lots, apartment complexes, storefronts, and yes, even inside of sanctuary cities that attempt to declare themselves off limits. And we've seen this over the years: Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Guys, what we really need to talk about is what just happened recently, what went down while a lot of people were asleep. So it was like 3 a.m. Linda Vista Apartments, San Diego County. ICE moves in very quietly, surgical. They have warrants in hand. The target, a father with a prior DUI conviction who has been living in the United States illegally for well over 15 years. But what started as a simple lawful arrest quickly spirals into a viral firestorm, and not because ICE did anything wrong. It's actually what happened around the arrest that turned this moment into a battle over truth and emotion. Now picture this, guys. Officers knock, announce themselves, loudspeakers, nothing. So they breach. Inside the apartment, man in a pajamas, a woman, 2 teenagers, 14, 16, they're all handcuffed at first. Standard protocol. The kids, U.S. citizens, they're later released to their older sister. The parents taken into custody. But what happened next? It wasn't law enforcement. It was neighbors, activists, smartphones, rage. The neighbor, guys, one neighbor, he raced outside, started filming. Others rushed into the streets yelling, "They're kidnapping people. ICE is dragging away our neighbors." All of a sudden, the operation's no longer just about a DUI fugitive. It's now about the optics, emotion, weaponized victimhood. Now, let's go and break this down honestly, okay? Was it emotional? Oh, absolutely. 100% yes, okay? Was it aggressive? Maybe, but legally justified. Was it avoidable? Absolutely. Let's be real, guys. If ICE knocks on your door with a warrant and you open it, they go in, they confirm identity, they make the arrest, minimal conflict, no viral drama. But when you don't answer, when you force them to breach, what are you expecting to happen, right? That's a hard truth that has to be faced. And here's another one. That moment was crafted for the camera, staged standoff to create a viral moment that would paint ICE as the villain, even though the facts don't lie. And yet, every headline: family torn apart, teen girl crying barefoot in the street, pajamas, flashbangs, tear gas threats, the whole shebang, right? But ask yourself this: if local police had arrested a drunk driver in the same apartment, would anybody care? And just when you think that the story ends in that apartment, well, you would be wrong, because the next morning in a Home Depot parking lot, all hell breaks loose. ICE handled the apartment, but Border Patrol, they had their own message to deliver, and it didn't come with a knock. So now we gotta move from pajamas over to power tools. All right, so meet me on aisle 12, please, okay? Sacramento, California, a Home Depot parking lot full of contractors, day laborers, unsuspecting shoppers. The sale on mulch that I still need to do because we need a few more bags in the backyard. But other than that, right up until Border Patrol's California strike team rolls in, what happens next? Pure chaos. But we gotta talk about Paulette Diener. She was in tears as well. Her son's Medicare situation had been a nightmare for over a year, believe it or not. Endless phone calls, nobody answers, no help. Then, miraculously, she found Chapter. But they listened, guys. They explained everything clearly. They helped him get onto a plan that actually fit his healthcare needs and saved him all sorts of money. She said, what a blessing. I highly recommend them to anyone who's struggling. That's the kind of impact that made me actually want to partner with Chapter in the first place. Guys, give our friends at Chapter a call right now and see how much money they could save you on your Medicare. Phone number's down below, 909-563-8279, or hit them up on their website instead, even easier, at askchapter.org/Ron. If you or someone you love, maybe your parents, is stuck, help is here. Now, the moment agents pulled in, everybody ran everywhere. I'm talking men jumped off of curbs, they ditched carts, sprinted across traffic. It was like something out of a Prison Break movie. Federal agents immediately launched multiple foot pursuits across the lot. By the time it ended, 11 illegal immigrants were taken into custody. But this wasn't just a random roundup. Border Patrol had done their homework. They'd run license plate scans. They matched tags to previously deported individuals. And the second that those suspects fled on site, that was their probable cause. I mean, this wasn't harassment. This was a targeted, pre-planned operation. Very strategic, 100% legal, and controlled. And who did they catch? A Mexican national with 67 prior arrests. How do you even get 67 and you're still able to be walking on the streets? Including fentanyl trafficking. A Guatemalan felon previously deported, another with charges for trespassing and false documents. Those are just the ones that we know about, guys. So here's where the story twists again. So as agents were loading up the suspects, one man, not a target, slashed the tire of a Border Patrol vehicle in broad daylight with people watching him. Then he tried to run. Agents pursued, tackled the guy to the pavement, maced him in the face when he tried to lunge at them. And his wife started screaming, "He's a U.S. citizen, he's a citizen." And Border Patrol, replied, they were like, "Well, he slashed our tire, ma'am. He's coming with us." That guy's a complete idiot. Anyway, so they got photos of the damage. The tire was shredded, the vehicle riding on its rim. Let that sink in. A U.S. citizen didn't just protest, he vandalized federal property and interfered with a live operation. So drop me a yes or no. Was that guy in the right or was he in the wrong? But social media, they didn't post that, of course. Instead, the viral clip just showed him getting tackled and the activists, they pretty much did the rest. And so now the real fight begins, because what's happening during these raids isn't just about arrests, it's about the perception. So we need to talk about the camera crews, the neighbors, the accusations, the viral edits. So we've already seen the raids in the dark, in the wee hours of the night and in broad daylight. ICE moves in, Border Patrol closes the trap, illegal felons are taken off the streets. And then, just when you think the operation is over, the real resistance begins. Everywhere, agents go now. Everywhere they go. Cell phones go out before the warrants even come out. Neighbors flee, they flood the streets. The protesters swarm to the scene. The narrative shifts in real time. But I want you to pause for 5 seconds. Make sure you're on my free breaking news list down below. This is how you get updated on the breaking news before mainstream media gets a chance to twist it. Real updates, guys, no noise. Pinned in the comments down below. Click on that, join my free breaking news newsletter. I'll leave a link for you guys in the pinned comment and in the description down below, totally free. So in Linda Vista, after the 3 a.m. apartment raid, neighbors didn't just film. They accused federal agents of kidnapping. One resident, filming from above, claimed they didn't even knock, except they did, actually. Loudspeakers repeatedly making announcements, but those clips, they never make it to the final edit. So on social media, the footage is cropped, edited, and captioned for outrage, really. Teenage girl crying, pajamas, no warning. And just like that, ICE agents executing a lawful warrant are recast as villains. It's not about facts anymore, guys. It's about framing. In Sacramento, California, the same playbook is being run. When Border Patrol took down the man who slashed their tires, activists zoomed in on the mace, not the knife. They filmed his wife crying, not the damaged vehicle that he damaged. So here's where it gets even darker. Some activists don't even just film. They actually call 911 and they report the operation as a kidnapping in progress, hoping to get local police to show up and shut it down. Now, let me repeat that. They're calling law enforcement to stop law enforcement. It's so stupid, right? Unbelievable, guys. So we're way past peaceful protests at this point. We now have organized groups who surround agents mid-arrest, scream false accusations into live streams, share real-time locations of raids to help people flee, encourage illegal migrants to stay hidden, resist, or even run. So ask yourself, is this civil disobedience or a coordinated effort to undermine the law? Because here's what's happening. ICE and Border Patrol, they can't rely on jails. Sanctuary cities block cooperation. So agents are forced into neighborhoods, and when they arrive, they're met with all sorts of hostility, obstruction, and viral manipulation. It's a trap, and activists know it. Their goal is not to stop one arrest. Their goal is to make every arrest look like an atrocity. But here's the real irony. These raids are happening because sanctuary laws force them to do it. And so, of course, I need to go ahead and expose right now why this really matters and why President Trump's new strategy is shaking these cities to their core. But by this point, you're probably wondering, why are ICE and Border Patrol breaking down apartment doors at 3 a.m.? Why are federal agents chasing people across Home Depot parking lots like it's a movie scene? Well, here's the truth that the media will not tell you. It wasn't supposed to be this way. These arrests were never meant to happen in public, in homes, or in front of children. In a normal functioning system, criminal aliens, the ones with DUIs, gang ties, and felony charges, they would normally be arrested by local police, processed in jail, flagged for removal, and turned over to ICE without drama. That's how it's supposed to work, but not in California, not in New York, not in Illinois, Oregon, or even Colorado. In sanctuary cities, local jails are prohibited from cooperating with federal immigration enforcement. That means no ICE holds, no phone calls to alert agents, no information sharing, even for known felons. Instead, these criminals are released back into your neighborhood. ICE they don't even get to pick them up quietly at the jail. So they're forced to track them down on the street. And then when ICE shows up at the last address that they have, suddenly it's ICE raids apartment, ICE storms Home Depot, ICE traumatizes family. But none of this would have happened if local authorities had simply followed the law. So here's where everything changes under President Trump. Past administrations folded under activist pressure. They pulled back, apologized, but not this one. Trump's team is retreating. Psych. Trump's team is far from retreating. They're actually recalculating, guys. They know sanctuary cities are protecting fugitives. So Trump's administration has completely changed the game. Targeted strike teams, mobile surveillance using license plate data, interagency coordination between ICE, DHS, and Border Patrol, raids timed for maximum containment and minimum escape. Even, guys, every move is legal. It's documented, it's strategically sound. If sanctuary cities will not help, they're going to be bypassed entirely. And so here's the signal Trump is sending loud and clear. If you give sanctuary to criminals, we will come get them, wherever they are, wherever we must. So no more warning shots, no more politics, just law and order. So now that you've seen what happened, not the edited script, not the headline, but the full picture, I want to ask the question that the mainstream media refuses to ask. Who's really being protected here? Who's being put in danger? Let's go ahead and break this down. So think about it. Every time the ICE or Border Patrol agents take action, the cameras start rolling. The activists cry out, "That's a father, that's a mother, that's a child." But let me ask you something. Since when did criminal records stop mattering, right? If that same father had like 67 prior arrests and fentanyl trafficking charges, wouldn't you want him taken off the streets, or would you rather him live next door to your family, right? If that mother entered on fraudulent asylum paperwork, skipped court, and disappeared into a sanctuary zone, should she just get to stay? No questions asked? This is the tension point that the entire country is facing right now. Do we protect everybody equally under the law, or do we make some exceptions here and there based on emotion and optics? Do we uphold our borders, or do we just abandon our borders inside of our own cities? And most importantly, should local residents be allowed to interfere with federal law or block lawful arrests, film agents, scream lies, and then try to spark viral outrage? Or is it time, finally, to restore law and order, protect real victims, and hold accountable those who break the law? Well, what we're seeing right now is not cruelty. It's clarity. Under President Donald J. Trump, the United States is finally doing what should have been done all along, going after the repeat offenders, cracking down on fraud and deception, ignoring the noise, and enforcing the law. This isn't about hating immigrants. This is about loving America enough to protect it. President Trump's administration is showing compassion where it counts and strength where it's needed. And for the first time in years, American citizens, not criminals, are being put first. So here's the real question. Should activists be allowed to obstruct federal arrests in sanctuary cities, or is it time to stop the chaos and support the agents risking their lives to enforce the law? Drop your answer in the comments down below. I want to hear what you guys think. And of course, if you made it this far into the video, I want you to do one more thing. Subscribe for more uncensored truth about what's really happening under President Trump's leadership. Like this video to help more people break through the media noise, and watch the next video that YouTube's suggesting right now. About to pop up right over here. Trust me, you're going to want to see what happens next. I'll see you in the comments.